After I found what was under the clinic, things started to break. Not in the building, in me. I didn't feel like myself anymore. Sometimes I'd wake up and find things I didn't remember doing. Charts filled out, medicine bottles opened, even bandages used. I was the only one with a key to the supply room, but somehow things kept moving around. It was like someone else was working while I slept. One morning, I found a note on my desk. "Thank you for seeing me last night, Dr. Rhodes." No name, no signature, just those words. Thing is, I hadn't treated anyone that night. I know I hadn't. I didn't even go downstairs. I barely slept, just laid in bed shaking, waiting for morning. But the note was in my handwriting. Same pen I use, same blocky R's I always make. I looked through the intake log. There it was. Patient name, Mara Ellen. Time, 12:42 a.m. Symptoms, chest tightness, shallow breath. Diagnosis, stress-induced anxiety. No treatment given. I didn't write any of that, but it was my name at the bottom, my signature. And the worst part? I remembered none of it. That night, I stared at the mirror. Didn't cover it, didn't speak, just watched it. My reflection stared back, calm, too calm. It blinked when I blinked, tilted when I tilted, but something felt off, like it was waiting for me to stop watching, to slip up. Later, I found an old photo in the filing cabinet, black and white, faded. A group of people standing outside the clinic. I flipped it over. Written in red ink, staff, Site 113, October 1954. I looked closer. 5 people, 3 nurses, 1 orderly, and 1 man in the center, tall, wearing a long coat, holding a clipboard. Same crooked smile as mine, same sharp eyes as mine, same jawline, same face. It was me. Or someone who looked exactly like me. Only this photo was from 70 years ago. I started to ask the villagers questions. Stopped one of the older men outside the store. "Have we met before?" I asked. He didn't answer, just stared at me. So I asked again, "When did the last doctor leave?" He tilted his head. "You mean when you left?" I stepped back. "What do you mean?" "You've always been here," he said, and walked away like it was nothing, like I'd asked the weather. I went back to the clinic and ripped every photo off the walls, checked every folder, every file. Each one listed the doctor in charge. All me, over and over. That night I heard footsteps inside the clinic, but when I looked out from my room, the hallway was empty. The lights flickered, then went out completely. I waited, flashlight in hand. Then I saw it, in the mirror. My reflection was smiling. I wasn't. My face was pale, eyes wide, mouth shut tight. But the reflection? It grinned like it had been waiting. And then it raised its hand and waved. I didn't move. It waved again. And then it took a step forward, inside the mirror, but toward me. I screamed and threw the towel over the glass. Didn't sleep all night that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it, that version of me, smiling, walking, waiting. The next morning, I checked the paperwork. Something had changed. The intake forms now showed my arrival date as 30 years ago. Not last month, not even last year. 3 decades. The ink was dry, old, like it always said that. I checked my ID. Still said 2025. But the files, the photos, the calendar on the wall, they all said 1995. I tried to burn the mirror, dragged it outside behind the clinic, doused it in alcohol and set it on fire. The flames roared, crackled, smoked like it was working. But when the fire went out, the mirror was untouched. No cracks, no scorch marks, just clean. Like it never burned, like it couldn't. That's when I realized this wasn't just about breaking rules. It wasn't about surviving the island. It was about replacing me, slowly, day by day, piece by piece. They weren't just trying to scare me. They were trying to take me. My reflection, it was learning, mimicking, getting closer to being me. And the people here, they already saw it as me. The villagers never blinked twice, never questioned my face in that photo, never noticed anything was wrong, because maybe, to them, nothing ever changes. I stopped using the name Samuel after that. Stopped writing it, stopped saying it. If they wanted to erase me, they'd have to fight for it. I kept a notebook under my bed with one sentence written over and over. I am not him. I am not the mirror. I am not what they want me to be. The nights got worse, colder, longer. The knocking never stopped, neither did the footsteps or the whispers in my own voice. But I didn't answer, didn't look, didn't speak, because I knew one wrong move and he would step out, and I wouldn't be me anymore. Something here wants to make me one of them, and the scariest part, it's working.
I don't know what finally pushed me. Maybe it was the mirror. Maybe it was waking up to find my clothes on backward, shoes muddy even though I hadn't left the room. Or maybe it was the whispers calling my name from the vents. Not just doctor, my full name, my real name, over and over. Soft, low, loving, like the island was trying to soothe me or seduce me. I had to get out, even if I drowned trying. I started gathering supplies, quietly. A pack, cans of food, a compass from the old emergency kit. I found a tarp, some rope, and a broken door behind the clinic, wide enough to make a raft. There were old water jugs in the basement. I emptied them, tied them under the door for flotation. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Enough to give me hope. And at this point, I didn't need perfect. I just needed a way. I waited until just before dawn, that strange gray hour when the shadows get sleepy and the wind finally stops whispering. I dragged the raft through the woods, down to the southern shoreline. The sand there felt wrong, too soft, like something underneath was breathing. I didn't care. I shoved the raft in the water, climbed on, and paddled with a piece of wood like my life depended on it, because it did. The ocean was too still. No waves, no sound. Just that thick, glassy surface stretching in all directions. I rowed hard, didn't look back, didn't stop. My arms burned, my shoulders ached, but I kept going. For hours, until the clinic was just a dot behind me, until the trees disappeared into the fog, until it was just water, me, and the endless gray. Then the fog got thicker, so thick I couldn't see my hands. The compass spun in my pocket, no longer pointing anywhere. The air grew cold, then colder. My breath came out in short puffs like smoke. I kept paddling, muscles shaking, fingers numb, but I kept going because I knew if I stopped, I'd never start again. I don't know how long I was out there. Time didn't make sense anymore. Could have been hours, could have been days. The sky never changed. No sun, no stars, just that heavy gray hanging above me like a lid on a coffin. Then out of the fog, I saw land. I nearly cried, laughed like a man losing his mind. I paddled toward it, faster, even though my arms barely worked. When my feet touched sand, I collapsed, face in the dirt, breathing hard, shaking, alive, free. But then I looked up, and I saw it. The white clinic. The same porch, same peeling paint, same broken gutter. It was the island. The same island. I ran all the way to the clinic door, burst inside. Everything was untouched, clean, still, too still. I checked the intake log on the desk. Today's date was already filled out, written in my handwriting. Return, 6:30 p.m. Symptoms, disoriented, confused, sleep-deprived. Diagnosis, refuses to accept where he belongs. I turned to the mirror. It was uncovered. My reflection stood there smiling. Then it spoke. Welcome home. I screamed, punched the glass. It didn't break. My hand bled. My reflection bled too, but it kept smiling, didn't flinch. I backed away, fell to the floor. I stayed there for hours, maybe longer. I didn't even clean the blood. What was the point? Later that night, I found a new note on the wall. Fresh ink, different handwriting. You tried. We all did. Underneath that, another line had been added, scratched in deep, like a warning or a joke. The island always wins. I went outside, stared at the trees, the sea, the clinic. It was all the same, exactly the same. But I knew something had changed. Me. My hope was gone, crushed under fog and silence and lies. I had left and still came back. Or maybe I had never left at all. That night, I slept on the clinic floor. Didn't lock the windows. Didn't care. I woke up to find the blood from my hand gone. No stain, no cut, like it never happened. Like the island had reset me, wiped me clean. I checked the mirror. My reflection looked normal again. No smile, no lag, but I didn't trust it. I covered it anyway, didn't want to see what it would do when I turned around. There's a truth no one tells you when you're in survival mode. Sometimes, escape isn't possible. Not because there's no way out, but because the place you're trying to leave wants you to stay. And it knows exactly how to make sure you do. The island didn't trap me with force. It trapped me with familiarity, with memories I couldn't explain, with reflections that remembered things I'd forgotten, with signs and faces and files that all said the same thing. You were never anywhere else. And maybe that's true. Maybe I've always been here. Maybe I'm just the latest version of a story the island keeps telling, over and over and over. All I know is this. I tried to escape, and I failed.